Hello and welcome. So, I'm going to take a look at the Times Quick Cryptic Crossword, and this is being published on Saturday, the 21st of June 2025. It's Midsummer's Day. Gosh, already middle of the year. So, the setter today is Bjorn. Now, we've only had two puzzles this year and one from Bjorn last year, but both puzzles this year I've failed on. The first, in fact, I quit both of them because I couldn't get to the final answer. The more recent puzzle I gave up at 22 minutes, having spent about 6 or 7 minutes looking at a pair of answers I couldn't get to, and it turned out I had a wrong answer in place, so that was never going to happen. The one before that was a real stinky puzzle that took 37. I gave up at 37 minutes and couldn't see the final answer, which I should have been able to see, but I'd had a real struggle down this corner. The one from last year was 21 minutes, so I feel like I've got a really. I feel like they're generally doable, but I'm having a little struggle at the end, so I feel like I've got to conquer that. So I'm going to reset the timer and crack on. Where to see the animals walking by 4x4. 2x2, 4x4. Okay, jam maker. Group of macho Irish singers is a choir, hidden word. Lothario stealing daughter away from St. Francis. Sir Francis Bacon. Sir Francis. Take a D out of a word for France. I don't know who Sir Francis is. Drake and Rake. There we are. Blissful drunk. Len embraced by screen villain. Blissful drunk Len embraced by screen villain. Can't think of screen villain at the moment. Tabloid paper, for example, lies about class. Rag, lies about class, don't know. Feature of poetry by Yeats, perhaps, or Frost, reportedly. David Frost. Frost, Ice. Feature of poetry by Yeats, perhaps. Might want to have soldiers for breakfast. Well, that's to do with boiled eggs, isn't it? Film was condemned by judge. I want to put J for judge. Condemned, but I can't be only 4-letter films with a J. Starts to check latest input monitoring Beaufort scale. Scale is to climb. Acrostic. Churchman penning article that generates much heat. Reactor, I suppose, a rector and a reactor. I saw that the other day. Fortunately, in the Guardian, I think it was. Not that particular clue, but that word and rector going around it. Disreputable family member goes back to collect heroin after dark. Dark would be night. Disreputable. So family member needs to put an H into. A family member goes back to collect heroin. So is heroin H? I think heroin is H. I think we can abbreviate that. I'm not entirely sure. Just stick an H there. It's going to be Gran. No. Well, not great, but not awful. Sophocles, a tyrant, arrests Silenus notably. Really? I have to say, just reading things like that I know nothing about is just very off-putting, if I'm honest. Candid and strangely intense work of fiction. Candid, straightforward, strangely intense work. Excuse me. Got a K. Candid is straightforward, is honest, is direct. Trump starts to frustrate fans following game. Rough. Is that Trump? Is it Trump or Rough? Double F. I think Trump is rough. I'm not sure about that. Fairy Queen of Old, get ready for a kiss. It's not Titania. Fairy Queen of Old, get ready for a kiss. Sportsman finished yard improvement. got a C. Sports ground, rec. Finished his rec end. Yard is going to be a Y, I would think. Finished his recovery is improvement, yep. Clean cut boys modelled little jumpers here. Don't know. Yankee wearing large revolting pattern clothing. So, anagram of large with a Y in there. Which makes pattern clothing ER, AR. So Afghanistan, Bordeaux's somewhat secular city. Somewhat is suggesting it's a hidden word, isn't it? Istanbul. Clever. Very well hidden, that one. Good. Look good and clean forensically. Glance. Glance, yeah, is an anagram. What became of the British imperial system? It's going to be metric, isn't it? The British imperial system. Metric. Why would that be metric? Is it metric? I'm going to put that. That's going to be black. There's my. I'll put my black. Disreputable sheep. Family member is a black sheep. Goes back is P. He's going backwards. Okay. I think that's metric, but I don't understand why. Abandon fight is to scrap. You scrap something, you abandon it, and a fight is a scrap. Musical acts giving prominence to Charlie. Cats. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm giving prominence to Charlie, but C. Is it cats? Musical. I think that's just to make sure you put it the right way around. I don't know. Okay, well, it's not so bad. It's not great though. Well, you might see Safari Park 4x4 in 4x4. Very good. Very clever bit of thinking there. Jam maker. Traffic. Again, saw that yesterday, I think, wasn't it? This is Frank is candid. Intense. Frankenstein. Stein. Can I spell Frankenstein? Just one I? Yeah. Frankenstein. What's this? Tabloid paper, for example, lies about. That must be genus. That must be genus, wasn't it? Tabloid paper, for example, e.g. about the sun. Yeah, sun. What's this? Sitar. Sophocles, a tyrant. Satyr. Okay. Might want to have soldiers for breakfast. Not sure. Okay, this one. Get ready for that. For a kiss is peck. Picnic, peck. What have we got going on here? Blissful, drunk, Len. Embraced by screen. I mean, Len looks like it ought to be an anagram with drunk. Blissful is screen villain is feature of poetry. Rhyme by Yeats, perhaps, or Frost, reportedly. Yeah, Rost, I think. Does sound like a rhyme, as in R-I-M-E. Film was condemned by Judge. Jaws, very good. Clever clue that, Jaws. Clean cut boys model little jumpers here. Clean cut. What about battle? Can't be battle. Is this my large anagram? Possibly. Reverton Argyle. Now, Argyle is an anagram. Okay, this. If that was Len as an anagram, then N Lee. Which means my screen villain blissful is heavenly. Heavy. Okay, heavy, yep. Puck is your puck queen. Puck yeah, okay. Which just leaves these three, well two, really, isn't it? Clean cut is boys modelled. Is that an anagram of clean cut boys? I think it is. Let's have a write down of clean cut boys then. Which is ATE. Okay, I'll just write down ONY. Gosh, which one's got CCLS U left? Is that right? CCLS U. Little jumpers here. Castle, some kind of castle, I think. CSL, which means it's CU. I've got another. Have I got that right? I've got a B in there somewhere, haven't I? I need to write this out. Something O. It's not the pony club, is it? Something A. Something D. Something E. Maybe it's in a castle then. CUB. Bounty. What? Bouncy Castle. Okay. Bouncy Castle. Brilliant. So that just leaves me probably this, assuming that is metric. I think. What became of? Attend Atra. Might one have soldiers for breakfast? Soldiers being men. Oh, this is like the last two times I've done Bjorn's puzzles. Left with one clue that I'm struggling to act. Istanbul Sparrow, Frankenstein's correct. Frankenstein. Ast. Might one have soldiers. Breakfast. I'm going to be a cannibal this time. Art. There's lots of letters that don't fit in here, and then a few that might just fit in there, but soldiers you'd think is an M, or I would have thought it was an M. For breakfast would be. Is this metric? What became of the British imperial system? Metric. Might one have soldiers? For breakfast, breakfast could be toast. Anti. Eat. 8. Normally a clue like this might want to have soldiers for breakfast would suggest it's looking for a well, it's a cryptic clue. So who might have one for soldiers for breakfast? Out, ast. I'm going to put the video on pause while I think to myself. Okay, anteater is the answer, isn't it? An anteater would have soldiers, soldier ants. Eater, which I think I'll just have to go metric in here. I don't know really. What have I missed? Oh, rough. Let's go with that. Yes, 1614. Right. Okay, that was. Well, I'm pleased to get through that one because I was panicking about, or internally panicking about that last one. I'm kind of beginning to swear a bit about it. Thinking, oh, I've got another Bjorn puzzle I can't do. Right, let's go through. Yeah, this first clue is very good if you can get to the answer. Yeah, you see where to see animals walk in 4x4. I don't quite understand where to see the animals walk. They see them walking at a safari park and in a 4x4. You know, think of a car, 4x4 car, four-wheel drive. I think is what that cryptic clue is hinting towards. Traffic is a jam maker. So again, another cryptic. Group of is saying there's a hidden word across macho Irish, which is choir, which is who are singers. Lothario is a rake, stealing daughter away from Sir Francis. So Sir Francis Drake with a D taken away becomes Drake, becomes rake. Blissful is heavenly. Drunk Len, so we've got ENL, embraced by the screen villain, which is a heavy. A tabloid paper, for example, so we've got tabloid paper is the Sun, and EG is, for example, lies about, is saying turn it around to get to genus, which is a class. A feature of poetry by Yeats, perhaps, or Frost, reportedly. So the feature of poetry is that they rhyme, so Yeats is an example of a poet, so his poetry would rhyme spelled that way, but a frost in the sense of frosting and icing and that sort of, I don't know. Ice is R-I-M-E, the rhyme of the ancient mariner. Reportedly, shall sound like indicator. An anteater might well have soldiers for breakfast. Yeah, soldier ants. This one, film, Jaws. I did say I couldn't think of a film, four-letter film beginning with J, but Jaws is definitely that. Condemned was condemned, so we've got an anagram of was, AWS, condemned, is your anagram indicator by J for judge. Starts to is saying there's an acrostic of check latest input monitoring Beaufort, which is climb, and to scale is to climb. Churchman is a rector, penning a for article gives you a reactor which generates much heat. Disreputable family member is a black sheep. Goes is as in goes to the toilet. Backwards is peas, back, so that gives you SEEP. Collecting H for heroin, it gives you the sheep, and after dark, which is the black. Right, so Sophocles, a tyrant, has a hidden word satyr. Arrest is your hidden word indicator, and silliness is your name of a satyr, I guess. Notably, is a notable satire. Satyr, not sure. Candid is frank, and strangely intense. We've got an anagram of intense. Strangely is your anagram indicator going after Frank, which gives you Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's work of fiction. A trump must be a rough. I think that's a card playing term. Actually, I was thinking of the collar, but I think it's something you do in cards. I'm going to say bridge or rummy or something. I don't know really. Starts to frustrate fans is FF, following the game of RU Rugby Union. Fairy is Puck in Midsummer Night's Dream, and it is Midsummer today, so very topical. Queen is ER. Queen of Old, sorry, is ER, Elizabeth's Regina. Whether you get for Queen Elizabeth 1 or 2, they're both old these days. We're now on the King. And get ready for a kiss is to pucker up. Pucker up, buttercup. Sports ground is a rec, as in a recreation ground. Finished is over, and wife yard, which gives you recovery, which is improvement. Clean cut boys is an anagram of bouncy castle. Modelled is an anagram indicator. Little jumpers here are the, you get people bouncing up and down on bouncy castle, they're jumping. Excuse me. Yankee is Y, wearing an anagram large. Excuse me. Revolting is your anagram indicator, and Argyle is patterned clothing. Very good hidden word across Afghanistan, bulldozed, which gives us Istanbul. Somewhat is your hidden word indicator. That's probably the second most notable hidden word indicator. Secular city is Istanbul. To look good, so to look is to glance, G for good, and clean frantically. So I've got an anagram of clean frantically as your anagram indicator. What became of the British imperial system? I don't fully understand this. Obviously, it became metric. It became metric. Maybe that's all it is. It just became metric. I don't know if there's something more interesting than it met Rick. I don't know what that mean if it does. I think it became metric. Um, got double definition here. So to scrap something is to abandon it, and a scrap can be a fight. And then musical is cats. Act is a acts giving promise to Charlie. So move the C of Charlie in acts up to the top, which makes it cats. So there you go. So it's not an anagram, it's a move C upwards to get to cats. There we go. All done 16:14. Very glad to get through that. Thanks for watching.